This video is why I don't give up and why you shouldn't either. What do I mean by that, right? So, uh, I've been in business now for about a year. I've owned my LLC for a little over a year now. I'm relatively a new business owner. This is all new, right? But I would say I've been an entrepreneur, right? Or at least somebody looking to start a business or be in business or pursue business since I was honestly middle school. I know that's crazy. That's like kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, like in middle school, I wanted to start a clothing brand, funny enough, right? With my middle school friends. And we called it the Savage Seven, right? We thought we were so cool. It was inspired by Tyler the Creator's Odd Future. Him, and Odd Future, they had the clothing brand, the wraps, and all that. And we thought that was so cool, and we really wanted to be that. And so me and my middle school friends, we made a clothing brand. Uh, so it was actually pretty interesting. Sorry, I just got a text. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Right, Savage Seven. That's what we called it. And this clothing brand was like, look, I'm gonna take all the credit for it, but I totally was the one like pushing for it, and I was like, this should be a thing. Like we gotta start the Savage Seven, and then we should also make the hip hop music and stuff. Like, look, I was really inspired, and yeah, we made all that content, or not the content. What the heck? We made all that, all the clothing ideas and mock-ups and all that fun stuff. And I remember that was like my first time, I guess, starting a business or trying to start a business, right? It fell apart instantly. I think only a few days. So there's mutiny among all of us. Somebody was like, "I'm the leader of Savage Seven," and they were like, "We should go in this direction. We should do this," and it fell apart instantly. I learned pretty early on that working in a team it can be quite difficult. But yeah, I mean, so that was like my first entrepreneurial endeavor, right? I mean, even going back to elementary school, right? I think about I used to take these the pens. There was these like ink pens or whatever, and they were clear. And I'd put like vinegar in it, and I'd get what was it? I'd get like bubbles, and I put dye in there too with the bubbles, and it would look kind of like a lava lamp. And I went to school and I sold those to people. I called them my lava lamp pens. It was like my invention. And my parents hated it because I was getting dye everywhere, like food dye everywhere, and this really gross oil or whatever, vinegar all over the place. And yeah, it was disgusting. And then the pens ended up leaking everywhere, and people would ride with it. And then the vinegar, or I think it was, I forgot what it was, but it was like oil would leak out and get everywhere, and people would want a refund. And yeah, I would give them a refund. I got like cornered about it. I remember being like put pressed about it in elementary school. But yeah, so I mean, ever since I was young, I've always had like an entrepreneurial spirit, right? Did I have the best ideas? I mean, the lava lamp pin was a clear indication. No, Savage Seven, I think could have been something if all of us middle schoolers could have got over our egos. But I think pride was the downfall of that for sure, right? But we go to, I don't know, fast forward, right? High school. I'm in a whole different state. I leave California. I go to Texas now. I'm going to high school in Texas, and same thing. I end up meeting a bunch of guys inspired by Tyler the Creator, Odd Future, and they want to start a business. And so we're all like, let's start a business. We called it DG the Mob. It was this whole like rap group and stuff. It was pretty cool. I thought we were going to be the next big thing. I was producing beats and learning about mixing and audio editing, and I was going to events and stuff like that, trying to get my name out there. And yeah, that was like an entrepreneur or something in a sense, right? I mean, that word's thrown around. Everyone's an entrepreneur nowadays. But so yeah, that was like high school. So high school, I was trying to make a name for myself, right? I was trying to figure stuff out. I was trying to be something or somebody. I had a real chip on my shoulder growing up. I didn't like the schooling system at all. I always thought school sucked. Like, and I think I sucked at. I think I sucked at math, and I took that out on everything. I thought math was so lame. I was like, "You're gonna flunk me?" Well, I flunk school. School's actually the problem, right? It's not me not wanting to sit down and listen. It's school. And school sucks. That was my train of thought. And so yeah, I was just really, really anti like authority, anti-school. I would never want to sit down or surrender anything. Came back to bite me in the butt later. I mean, like, yeah, but it just, I very much, I didn't like listening, and so I always wanted to be do whatever everybody else wasn't doing for, and it was really just ego. It wasn't because I was like some genius or some really cool guy who like was just gonna break the system. Like I thought I wasn't gonna go to do school because school was lame and I was too good for it. And then I ended up dropping out and working as a server for like 4 to 5 years. Like it didn't really go anywhere. So I mean, yeah, I think in the movies they make it seem really cool and they make it seem like if you're anti, you're cool, but I don't think I was cool back then. I think I was just hurt, right? I was just trying to stand out and be seen. And I think that's where a lot of like my entrepreneurial roots stemmed from, like wanting to be appreciated and valued, right? And like bringing my own value would be something that would help me stand out. So, yeah. All that's to say, like middle school, tried starting businesses, tried to stand out, tried to go against things. High school, same thing, right? Dropped out of high school, got my GED, didn't even finish high school. Had some issues at home too, so I was just like, school's not for me. I'm out. Second I turned 18, I was like, I'm gone. Didn't even finish. And I was working as like servers, delivery food drivers, slept in my car a lot, like got in a lot of fight with my parents and stuff. Like I was so like against everything and just I looking back I thought like I was very negative minded, right? Had a lot of hate, had a lot of pain in my heart, right? And but I wanted to be this entrepreneur and I wanted to be respected and appreciated, yet I was like I didn't respect anyone or appreciate anyone, right? It's like how's that work? So I think that was like my biggest chip on my shoulder that stopped me from being successful. So and I'm relatively like successful. I mean, success is different metrics, right? I've learned success isn't just monetary. It's or like financial or worldly possessions. Success is like it's something. It could be a lot deeper. I guess I don't know how to put it, but yeah. So anyway, so why I didn't give up and why you shouldn't, right? Or I forgot what I even titled this. You just see it in the title, but I ended up working at like a media network, right? So I here let me. I ended up leaving the rap group, right? The little hip hop DG the Mob thing. I was like, this thing is kind of lame, not liking it. They also started doing like weird stuff, trying to be like super like gang, and I was like, yo, chill, not with that. I did not live that life. I could not hang, and so I was like, I'm gonna go do my own thing. I'm gonna go try to start my own music thing, and so I started producing beats, started making content for myself, again trying to just prove myself and get seen. And so that led to me meeting with a buddy at like a hookah lounge, right? For um what were we doing? We were gonna talk business and become these like really cool guys and just smoke hookah, smoke hookah, drink tea, be cool. That was the vibe, right? That was the plan. And so uh we we met and I brought my buddy, and then my buddy brought his buddy. I ended up meeting his buddy and talking to him and telling him about like my goals and kind of telling him like kind of how I think. And I think we resonated a lot, and so he ended up like inviting me to come check out this studio he was working as an intern. I was like, cool, dude, bet I'll come check it out. I'll take any opportunity right now. I was working as a server at that time, doing overnight shifts, and I was like, I anything like anything is better than this. And so I went to the studio and I tried what was it? I'm coming up with this as I go. Like I'm trying to just piece together the point of all this as I go, but I think I'm getting there. Uh I tried to uh like fit in, I guess. Well, I tried to fit in at this place. I think I did fit in. I came and I came to the studio. I met the owner, a really nice lady. It was her and her dad who owned the studio. They were a startup, no experience in media. The owner had no experience in media, had no idea what she was doing, but she wanted to turn this shop that used to be her father's shop or her father's like workshop into a production studio, which was looking back, it's pretty ambitious. They're doing okay now. So, but I went there and I remember just falling in love with like the space, how spacious it was there. This studio was like really empty. It was like a warehouse, just super empty. And I went in there and I walked around. I showed them some of my music. They were like, "Oh, it was pretty good. Like, it's fun." Like, and I was like, "Are you looking for more interns, right?" Because just the place was so empty, and there was so much opportunity there. And I really, I always was like longing for a place to feel like belong in a sense. And so I think I found it there, and that ended up biting me in the butt. I ended up attaching a lot to that, right? But yeah, so I ended up interning there, and this like media network, right? It was it was growing, it was developing. And I became like the second intern there, right? Which was a pretty cool claim when I was there. And as I worked there at this media network, just the owner, she was really good at connecting with people and getting people to come out and check out her space. She was trying to sell a space for rentals and stuff. And so at the time they had like 800 followers. By the time I left, we got them to like 3,000 plus followers, all organic, just through making content and doing events and stuff. But I ended up, yeah, working there, and I worked there for like 2 years. And in that time, like they had a production team when I got there, but then there was a falling out, so the production team was gone, and so it was like me and the other intern, and that was it. And then the owner and her dad, and so there was a lot that needed to be picked up. Like they were trying to be a podcast studio, so I had to learn how to do audio production, video production. I say I had, but I got to learn. Like I got to learn how to do audio production, video editing. Right, that was like my main skill that I sold myself on because I used to edit YouTube videos for myself. I used to have a whole YouTube channel where I did like gaming, and I got like one of my third videos got like 100,000 views, and I was like, holy crap! Like I'm really good at this editing gaming thing. Like I need to do this. I ended up giving up because somebody left a hate comment, and I was like, dang, okay. Like I don't like being hated on. Like I couldn't handle it. This was like freshman year or something. I was like, this is too much. Like another entrepreneurial endeavor, right? Another creative endeavor. Um, I've done it like I've picked up and dropped so many things, but yeah. So the studio thing, right? It it ended up being pretty cool. I learned a lot, got a lot of opportunities, made a lot of connections. I really found myself in a sense too. Like I think I had always been trying to be something for other people, and I didn't really have like a voice for myself. I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself either. And through that opportunity, though, through like getting to do so many different things, I ended up learning that like I'm a leader and that I am smart and I can be confident and I'm capable, right? And these were things that like I didn't believe in when I went there, and like I had a lot of like doubt in myself. So being able to experience that, like that environment where I could experience what it's like to be someone capable in a sense, like I was able to identify myself as someone capable, and that stuck, and which is good. I'm thankful for that. But yeah, I was able to prove my capacity, prove my capabilities there, and it led to just a lot of opportunity. A lot of people. I went by a nickname Jar. My name is Jared. I went by Jar. Everybody called me Jar. It was really cool. People thought Jar was like this living legend because Jar wore many hats. That was what they said. Because I would one second I'd be doing a podcast, the next thing I'd be setting up for an event that a venue just rented. The next thing you know, I'm like sending out emails, and eventually I ended up bringing in five people who were close friends of mine, and I labeled them as interns. I got By doing that, I got fully hired on. The owner ended up paying me a decent salary of $7 an hour when I was working like what probably it was a salary too, so I only got paid like 800 a month or something like that. I ended up having the other intern move in with me so that I could afford my rent because I was barely getting paid. And when I first went there, all the money I had was in my savings. I had 5,000 in my savings because my rent at the time was like $1,000, and I was working a serving job at a restaurant overnight. And overnight, I was yeah, I was like hustling and bustling. I would make like 4K a month, right? And so 1,000 went to rent. Didn't have any other expenses, so I probably spent like 2,000 on necessities, and so I was just pocketing money. And so I had 5K in rent, or 5K in savings. And then once I started wearing many hats and Jar kind of started becoming a thing at the media network, I was like, this is all I want to do. I was like, what's it going to take to get hired here? And then I told her like my rent was like 1100, but the other intern was going to move in with me. So I got it down to like, like 500. How much can you afford to pay me to be here full time so I can survive? And she was like, I can give you $800 a month or something like that. I was like, bet, let's do it. Like, I'll take it. This is a great opportunity. That's how I saw it. And so I ended up quitting my serving job and living off my 5,000, blew that really quick just on surviving. And then I had to live off like $800 a month for like a few months. And that was pretty fun. But yeah, during this time, I ended up like co-creating a bunch of events. I ended up doing a production for a show that got on Amazon. I'm not even gonna mention it though, because I'm not the most proud of it. It was definitely just I was doing whatever I could to get experience, but I became like a director. I got really good at camera operating. Like in 2 years, I did nothing but practice production, content creation, how to use a camera, how to edit, audio mixing and mastering, like everything regarding production. The 5 people I brought in as interns, I ended up creating like an intern program, and I kept them on. These people weren't getting paid for months. I kept them on though purely by will, like by being like, guys, there's a finish line, like inspiring them, leading them. I took like leadership courses. Like I spent 2 years in like the fire in a sense. Like I learned by doing. And yeah, I was barely getting paid. I was barely surviving. Like I wasn't eating for days. I remember my eyes were twitching so much because I was just working so hard and like staying up really late, barely sleeping. I was like drinking some days. Like I was getting like blackout drunk other days because I was also like I was just trying to be like a rock star. I felt like a rock star in a way too. It was yeah, because Jar wore many hats, right? It was interesting. It was an interesting time, and yeah, I look back on it, I was like, I learned a lot for sure. I I don't even think I know how much I learned. Like I learned a lot about life too. That and the serving jobs, because I was pretty sheltered growing up. I'd say like I didn't really like I didn't go outside much, and I stayed in my neighborhood. Like played a lot of video games. I didn't know how to interact with people in a sense. Like I had really bad social skills. I had a really bad sense of humor. Like I just didn't understand that like social cues sometimes too. But through the serving jobs, through the overnight serving jobs in the middle of Houston, through the event, through the media, through getting in front of camera and freestyling stuff, like just coming up with stuff on the spot, like I got really good at talking to people. And so even that was like personal development that was developed. So yeah, those 2 years were really impactful to me because financially it was probably the worst time in my life, but like maybe spiritual, I wouldn't even say spiritually because I think I'm in the best time of my life spiritually now, which I'll get to. But I think like worldly skills and skill development, that was the best time of my life. Like I learned so much and I really started to find myself. All right. This was like my early 20s too. So it's like right when it's supposed to happen, I guess. I would say like my late teens were just anti everything, really depressed, really like smoking a lot of weed. I don't even know if I could say that on here, but like, like just doing bad stuff, right? And being lost. Then early 20s was like me figuring things out and finally getting a hang on things, but still making a lot of mistakes. And I'm about to turn 25 this year. I'm not even that old. Like I feel like I'm a old man, but I'm really not. But yeah, so the media job was cool. I ended up leaving because the show that I directed it, edited it, produced it. Like, I don't know if I produced it technically, but I edited it, directed it, did the cinematography, set design, came up with the whole concept of it, like for what it was there. Like I refined it through pre-production stuff. Like I was carrying it on my back a lot, and I definitely did. I wasn't like braggadocious about that. I was kind of very reserved about that. And, in my mind, I was like, yeah, dude, like this is my show. And like, I would try to not be like that. But people kind of, I think the people in the sphere of the show kind of got like, they started thinking like, we don't really need him. Like, he's not really all that. Like, we have everything we need. We can do it without him. And so the show was getting like pitched to media networks, and I heard like someone say they were going to sell for like $70,000 or something. And I was like, what the heck? I don't know where it ended up going. I don't really care. Like, it's looking back, I'm happy that I'm not a part of it. But I was like, what the heck? Like, this is crazy. And so I went to talk to the boss, and I was like, uh, so I'm curious, like, I'm getting paid 8 an hour. I'm hearing this is getting all this, and I put in a lot of work for it. When it gets sold, can we work out like a deal where I get some commission or something? Because I spent the last 2 years of my life and all this effort to make it and to do all these other things for this place. And I was curious, like, if maybe that could be a way I get compensated. Like, that's where all my hard work pays off. And I pretty much got looked at like I was crazy, and I was told I'm already getting paid, which was like my $7, $8 an hour, and only at 40 hours a week. And I was working way over 40 hours a week. So once I had that conversation, I was like, okay, so me getting anything other than experience and opportunity, anything monetary is never going to happen. And at that time, I was struggling to eat. I was like worried about paying my bills. I wasn't getting paid on time, the 7 to 8 an hour, and so I was like, I need to go. And I felt confident. Like at first, a lot of my identity was in that studio. Who I was in that studio, and I thought like if I leave the studio, like Jar is no more. Like, and it was scary, but at the same time, I recognized like, what am I doing? Like, why am I so attached to this? This isn't me. That my value isn't in this. And so I looked at the owner in the eyes. I was like, okay, I guess I'm leaving. Like, that's it. And so I walked away, which is really crazy because like Jar, right, the mini hats guy, that's who I was, and I was really like proud of that, and like proud of who the character I made in a sense, right. And now I'm just Jared, right now I'm just myself again. But like, yeah, it was a hard thing to walk from. It was scary, and I walked away broke, right. I didn't know what I was doing. Um, and then yeah, so there were some things between transitioning from there to where I ended up going. I ended up working at another restaurant as a server, saving up money again, pretty much right back to the status quo, um, working 40 hours a week. But I had learned all these skills, and I was like, I gotta do something with this. Like, so I started investing in camera equipment. I started doing freelance jobs and doing like freelance podcasts and stuff. And I was getting paid from that, but I wasn't getting paid like enough to survive. And like people were always trying to negotiate with me. And in like my mind, I just spent the last 2 years doing more work than most people probably do in like 5 to 10 years, just condensed because I was living so like bare minimum. Maybe people put a lot of work in. I'm not going to discredit the work people put in, but like I put a lot of work in, and so in my mind, I'm like I'm arguing with these people about my prices, but they don't know who I am. Like Jar doesn't exist anymore. It's Jared, and all that stuff I did in the studio, that whole like legacy I built there, like I walked away from in a sense. It's so lame, but like I walked away from it, so people didn't really know, like, or trust me. They didn't respect me, and so nobody wanted to pay me. And I was like, something's got to change because I'm sick of serving. I have all these skills. I can't implement them. I need to get these bills paid. I want to increase my life. I want to be able to have a nice place, have a place to rest my head where, it's mine. Like, I want to have a good life. And around the time I left the studio, I gave my life to Christ, which that was a big thing. And I think that's where I found my identity again. I found my identity in Christ through surrendering and through baptism, through going to church. I ended up getting a girlfriend. She's cool. I was able to. I I like found my identity after leaving that place, right? And I think a lot of this story is like I was always trying to impress people or be someone else or do crazy things to get validation. And then like once I learned about Christ, it was kind of like I don't care anymore. Like Christ died for me. Like life's already good. Like I have everything I need. I'm already blessed. I don't know. So yeah, after my baptism and after continuing, like I started going to church more. I became lukewarm, got deeper into church when I found my new home church, and I really think like I thank Christ, like God is good because I'm really in a good place, like spiritually, right? I feel at peace. I think spiritually all my life I was like atheist growing up, like I I was really lost. I was lost in the world and I had a lot of pain, but through sacrifice. That's like, I guess not sacrifice through Christ sacrifice, but through surrender, like, and through just appreciation and just like enjoying the little things. I found a lot of happiness, and yeah, I ended up meeting a mentor through a local ad on Instagram, and he was offering this like course. It was like $12,000, the most money I've ever spent on anything. And I didn't even know this guy. I just watched his videos, made a lot of sense. He had an offer because I was a videographer at this time, and uh, nobody was paying me. But I had all this like really nice equipment, and his ad was literally like, New equipment, better stuff doesn't get you paid. What gets you paid is a good offer." And I was like, "Holy crap!" Like he's speaking directly to me. Like I have a terrible offer. I have nobody wants to pay me, even though I have all this experience. Like I need to figure out how to do that. And so I ended up dropping 12K on this course. Most money I ever invested into my education. Didn't even go to college, so yeah, most I ever spent on education for myself. But uh, ended up I learned the offer, and that's when like Space City Ads and my business that I'm operating now was born. And so I would say now I started my LLC last January. It's March 29th, 2026. So January 2025, I started my LLC. That was before the offer. That was just me as a videographer. That was so I could do contracts and stuff. And I got the offer around like October. I learned about this offer. The catch was, and this is why I would have never dropped $1,200 if it wasn't for this. They were gonna give me everything: the offer, how to position myself, exactly how to like how to target the ideal audience, which is service-based business owners, like exactly what to do to get into this market and succeed. The only thing is I gotta put the work in, right? And when I saw that, I just smiled. I was just like, yeah, okay. So you're telling me you're gonna give me everything I need to successfully build a business. I just have to put the work in. And this was like fresh off the mentality of like what I went through the last 2 years at that media network, where I was like starving and working overnights and like doing my overnight service shift and going to the studio the next day. Like I did that for like 2 months. Like this was after grinding for 2 years and just hungry, just really, really hungry. They told me, we're going to give you the game, just put the work in. And I was like, that's the catch. That's it. $12,000 to invest in myself, $12,000 to win. And nobody's going to want it more than me, right? Like, they're going to give me everything, but I have to do it. No one else is going to do it for me. And so, yeah, when I realized that, I bought it. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Because that's how I've been moving. Like, all my whole life, I've just been like trying to freestyle it and like do it myself. And so now if someone has an offer, a way to do it that works, they just need people who can put the work in, right? And so I was like, oh, yeah, like this is perfect. So bought it, put the work in, closed a few clients, and the rest is history. This is what I do now. And maybe I don't know, fast forward in a year, maybe I won't be doing it. Who knows? I like to think not. I really feel confident in this. I surrendered my business to Christ. I work really hard, and I have a really good understanding of what I'm doing. Like everything I'm doing makes a lot of sense to me, and it feels right. Like I'm really happy doing it too. So I guess like I started this by saying I didn't give up and you shouldn't either, or something like that. Yeah. I mean, I don't really have much of a point. I'm kind of just telling my story, talking, but I didn't give up. I had and there's a lot more to the story, I guess, but I just worked, and I think I've always had that in me. I like to say that dog in me. I don't know, but yeah, I think I've just always wanted to do something and be great, and I think I had to learn what great was, right? Great, like away from pride and ego, great in like a serving sense, and yeah, I'm happy now, and I got clients. I'm making a business. And this is my YouTube. This is you probably there's videos on here. I'll be posting and stuff. I'm gonna make more stuff like this, but I'm really happy I didn't give up. And I'm still early on in all this, so this might even just be the beginning of my chapter, a whole new chapter. Who knows? Who knows? I always tell people I might be homeless on the streets next month, whatever God desires. When you surrender your business to God, when you surrender to God, it's like, God, my life is yours. Like, whatever happens is part of your design, right? I pray that, God lets me stay where I'm at to a certain extent, but growth requires discomfort. I mean, when I dropped that 12K and the first few months of my business, I wasn't making clients, or I was spending more than I was making, living in debt. Like, I was very uncomfortable. I'm still uncomfortable. I'd say I'm like more comfortable in discomfort now. And I find that strength through Christ. Like, I have a lot of faith in Christ, and that everything is going to work out. And if not, I mean, if it doesn't work out here, my soul's saved. Like, I have faith that I'll be with Christ and everything's going to be okay. So, yeah, I'm really happy I didn't give up at any point. I think I wanted to give up a lot. I think I did. I think I did give up a few times, but I got back up. And I said, let me try something different. Yeah, if I gave up, I wouldn't be here, right? That's like giving up fully, I guess. So, yeah, I didn't give up. That's kind of like a brief overview of the journey I've been on these last few years. How I ended up sitting in this chair. It's like a $400 chair. I spent $400 on a chair. Never would thought I've done that. I got a little bit of money to my name now. Pretty happy. But yeah, I've learned money's like whatever. I don't know. It's good. Not having it for a while, I really appreciated it. But even when I started getting it, I started like spending it a lot, and money comes and goes. I mean, I care more about like my friends and my family, my faith. But you wouldn't think that by how much I freaking work, because I gotta keep the lights on. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think this is the end of my TED talk. If you learn anything, I love God. I'm very grateful for everything that has happened to me, the good, the bad. Um, Looking back, like there's so many little stories I could tell, but everything happened for a reason. I'm sitting here and I'm happy. In this moment, I'm happy. Tomorrow, I might be sad, and that's okay. I'll be happy the next day. It's gonna be okay. So yeah, why are you still here? Get out of my room.